Hello, and welcome to the Activation Nation podcast, your weekly source of actionable advice from industry experts in self-development, health, LifeVantage products, network marketing, and more to help you activate your wellness, your business, and your life. Today's episode focuses on industry, one of the 4 pillars of belief. But first, the legal stuff. You may hear our guests talk about the income they've earned or how their health has been affected with LifeVantage. Please note that the average annual earnings of a typical active LifeVantage distributor in 2021 was $704. For the most up-to-date information, please click the link in our show notes. Any product statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Our products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. And now, here's your host to dive into today's story to help you activate your life.
Hello, Activation Nation. Welcome to the Activation Nation podcast. I'm going to be your host for this week's episode. My name is Colton Smith, and in this week's episode, you are going to hear from Erika Dale, one of our executive consultants here at LifeVantage. Erika is a phenomenal leader. We had an amazing conversation that took place a little bit earlier this year at our Evolve event. Lots of good content in this week's episode, so we hope that you enjoy. Erika Dale, welcome to Activation Nation.
Hey, thanks, Colton.
How you doing?
I am good. I'm good. Excited for the rest of this event.
Oh yeah, we are chilling down here in New Orleans. We actually were just talking about this. This is your first time down here.
It is.
This is also my first time down here.
Nice.
What's been I don't know, your favorite thing, your least favorite? I don't know. What question do I ask you here? How's your experience been down here?
I mean, it's different.
It's different. Different's a great word to explain New Orleans.
Busy. And it's also St. Patrick's Day weekend,
Yes.
which I hear is like their number 2 event in the city. So
Yes.
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Lively. Lively would be a good word.
Very lively. And I
Yeah.
think you've made your way down to Bourbon Street.
We did. Yeah. We had dinner last night, which that made up for
There you
the
go.
craziness of the city. Really good food. So can't complain there.
You know, when we first got here, we got to walk around a little bit, and different. It's definitely unique, unlike any other place you've ever seen in your life. And I just like I think different's great. It's an awesome city. It's an awesome city. Have you? Well, I don't know if you and Jesse eat the beignets.
No,
You're not beignet
I should
people.
probably do that before we leave.
Yeah, I mean.
We did the char grilled oysters.
I haven't had a chance to
Oh
do
my
that
gosh,
yet.
you have to. I think even if you don't like oysters, you'll like those.
And I love oysters.
They're so good.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have
you
homework
have
for
to go
tonight.
get them.
Okay, I got my homework for tonight. I'll figure this out. And also, one thing I do want to mention is Erika Dale and I, same birthday.
Same birthday.
Every single year that I've worked with you at LifeVantage, I still August 14th.
August 14th.
Same.
It's a good
every
day.
single day. It's like I can always count. There's going to be a birthday in my phone, birthday text from Erika Dale in my phone. Just happy birthday, cousin. I'm like, yeah, let's go. So we got Erika Dale. We're honored just to have you on here for a few minutes to talk to you, to hear your story. And it's been amazing just to watch you over the years. I've been able to watch you train and present all over the place, whether we're out there in Indiana or on the main stage here at LifeVantage. And in fact, I think here in New Orleans, you're also going to be on the main stage just in a couple hours here.
I am.
And nothing that you haven't done before.
No.
You know the ropes, and you built a successful network marketing business. And I know a little bit also about your background. Like this wasn't necessarily 100% what you did.
No.
Prior to LifeVantage.
Not even sure I wanted to do it.
You had an entire background before that. So I would love for you to share just a little bit of your story, essentially, where you're from, a little bit of your family, and then kind of your journey into the network marketing industry.
Sure. Yeah. So I joke that I wasn't looking for LifeVantage. So LifeVantage found me, but I think like a lot of people told, go to school, get a job, life will be great. And I was living in Pennsylvania in 2012 and had a master's degree, was working, I don't even know what I was doing back then. I think I was a therapeutic foster care therapist, and came home to a shut-off notification of my electric bill in the dead of winter. And I was just like, well, what are you supposed to do? I'm already working. Went down to the local assistance office, got that thing taken care of. But in that moment said, I will never go through that again. And a friend of mine had reached out about network marketing, which I poo-pooed because I'm like, nah, I have a real job. I have a master's degree. And kind of went back to her and said, okay, tell me about that thing again. What was that? And that was my entry into network marketing 10 years ago. 11 years ago. And from there kind of transitioned. That company did not work out and didn't really want to do network marketing anymore. Moved back to Indiana, met my now husband who owned gyms, and he needed a manager. And I was just kind of like, I'll manage your gyms. And he said, you don't know the first thing about managing a gym. I'm like, yep. Didn't know anything about network marketing either, but I figured it out. I'll figure this out too. And so I was doing that in 2015, working about 60 hours a week, and network marketing popped up again. A friend of mine reached out and said, I think this product would just work really well for your gym members. And I was like, okay, you can show it to me, but I'm all set. I don't think I want to do this. I didn't understand LifeVantage. I didn't understand our flagship product. Luckily for me, Jesse, my husband, is a nerd. I'll tell him that to his face. So when he listens to this, he'll just laugh. And he was the one that said, no, if this product does what it says it does, we should take it. And I'm like, you don't take product. He said, I know, but there's science here. There's reality. And so I jumped into the business because I did understand network marketing. As a gym manager at the time, I was working 50, 60 hours a week and skipping bills to pay bills, and in my mind, couldn't share my financial situation with Jesse because I just felt like he would run away.
Sure.
I'm like, who wants to bring that baggage into a relationship? And so I jumped back in with LifeVantage in 2015. Fast forward a couple years, Jesse and I got married. Now we live in Indiana. We attempt to split time in Florida in the winters and escape the crazy cold gray winters of Indiana. And yeah, we have 2 French bulldogs and currently attempting to start a family. So
I love it. I love it. And no, you two are absolutely incredible in that gym background. You see it on full display, for example, at every single Elite Academy or global convention that we go to. If you ever happen to visit the gym prior to a meeting, like a couple hours there, you're going to see both the two of you already just like full sweat, have been there for multiple hours working out together.
Yeah.
I've experienced that firsthand. But I love your story. And one of the things I guess I'd be interested to hear from you is, you've had the experience of, running gyms and traditional business and working in network marketing. I guess what's the biggest shift is there a shift in mindset between doing a traditional business and running gyms compared to building a network marketing business?
I mean, there's definitely a lot of similarities between the two. I think for us, when I went full-time into network marketing, it was the mindset of, I don't have to work 60 hours a week anymore. I don't have to grind. I don't have to put myself into, poor health because like we were talking about earlier, I was consuming so much caffeine during that time. So really just flipping, like, I put in the work in the beginning and I can kind of let that off a little bit. I can, build a team and allow that momentum to kind of carry over. That was a huge mindset shift. Like I just felt like I was never doing enough. And when we closed our gyms and Jesse came home full time, he was the same. I mean, I had to kind of teach him like, hey, we're not in the gym anymore. We don't have jobs anymore, essentially, even though we owned a business. So that was really the mindset. But as far as building it, I mean, it was more relationship building in network marketing than I think in the gym. Yes, you build relationships, of course, you get to know your members, but it's more transactional at the end of the day.
Yeah. And making that shift, going from hey, we got this gym, we're working in this sort of sphere, moving over to network marketing. Were there any concerns about it? Did you have like, this is my biggest concern about making this shift?
For me, no. I was
straight
all
up
in. I mean, once I
in.
saw what this was doing, because again, I came in with the mindset of, let's just make a couple $100. Let's pay a bill that we're skipping right now. I was like, no, this is good. This is going to continue to go. I never looked back. I think Jesse was your traditional brick and mortar business owner. You invest hundreds of thousands of dollars and hopes that over the course of the next 5 years, you're in that 20% of successful business.
Right.
And so for him, it was more of, that's not a real business. In fact, he said that to me when I joined this company. And I was okay with that. I'm like, I didn't need him to think this was a real business. He did say, I believe in you. I don't believe in that business model.
Right.
But that quickly changed within, I think, 4 months. I went on an incentive trip and he came with me. And at the end of that trip, he said, this is different. This is different.
Did you rub it in his face a little bit? Just
Still today. I mean, 7.5 years later.
What you told me 4 months ago?
We still talk about that. But now, we have another business that is not network marketing, but it's very similar.
Sure.
And it's been fun to watch him completely transition from that brick and mortar model to basically, emulating what we have with network marketing.
I love it. I love it. Do you remember, when you first started working at just within the industry of network marketing, your first phone call? So when you made the decision to jump right in, I guess I'd like to know kind of what was the most difficult thing about getting started? How did your first call go when you first made that decision? Okay, I'm in. Now what? If you're going to build a business, you got to start talking to people. So
I like to go back to that first company because I think I did get a few years under my belt. I don't remember my first phone call, but I remember for the first year, I did nothing. I had a couple customers because I liked the product and it was just an easy, hey, you should try this product. But I wasn't coachable. I think it was because I was highly educated. I had a master's degree. I had read all the books. I had done all the things, and everything that was being taught in network marketing was go read, go do personal development. And I'm like, I'm not reading anymore. I've read for 6 years. I am not reading another book. And because of that, I think I had the kind of an ego that just said, I can figure this out on my own terms. And a year into it, I had a leader reach down to me and she said, hey, I see you have some customers. Do you want to actually make money? And I said, yeah, I'm still broke. A year later, still not making money, still struggling to pay my bills. And that was when she actually said, well, you need to come to this next event. And I said, I didn't know her. I said, lady, I just told you I'm broke. And you want me to fly from Pennsylvania to Los Angeles? I don't have money for a plane ticket. And she said, well, if you want to make this work and if you want me to mentor you, you'll figure it out. I'll help you, but you'll figure it out. And I went to that first event, and in the next 7 months, just my business catapulted.
I love it because that was going to lead me into my next question here because I in these conversations we sometimes like to ask about mentorship in particular, and we've had conversations with people that had maybe that same sort of experience where I'll kind of figure it out, which is important, but also at the same time I think I can ask you, we just saw on display how important mentorship is within this industry. What specifically did you learn from your mentor? What were some of the biggest takeaways from? I really think one, just the skills, what to do, kind of replicating what they were doing, listening to them do it, and then repeating what they were doing. But again, I think at the end of the day, it was doing what I, for the first year, said I wouldn't do, which was personal development. And they just kept drilling that in and read the books and listen to podcasts. And once I finally I let my ego go, I started doing that. It was the work that I was doing on myself, which I didn't even know I was doing. It wasn't this black and white, oh, look, I'm a different person. It was just gradual growth that led me to the mindset piece of it, which is, I think, even more important than the skill set. Right. But so you do personal development. Then you do a lot of personal development within this industry. What specifically are you doing? Are you reading books? Are you listening to podcasts? Do you listen to Activation Nation?
I do.
Is this in your library?
It is. I love when it pops up. All of the things. I read. I'm a person of faith, so my husband and I read the Bible every morning. So that's part of it. But then I still do personal development books, podcasts. I mean, I went from only music in my workouts to now I listen to podcasts, which, I said I would never do. I'm like, that's stupid. I can't listen to podcasts.
I that when you're working out, it is different.
It is.
But man, like a really good engaging podcast while you're just sitting there just like on the treadmill.
Yeah. And it took a while for me to get to that. And it went from like half and half and then transition. And now I'm just like, okay, that's all I do. So I soak up what I can in the gym, and then I do more intentional with reading and highlighting and all the nerdy stuff.
I love it. And then as you've kind of made that investment in yourself, done more personal development, do you think that's branched off onto your team, like that concept of leading by example? Because you are a successful leader. You've gotten to a rank within LifeVantage, for example, that a lot of people would love to get to, and obviously it's that concept of if you want what I have, you got to do what I do.
Yeah.
So is that kind of, have you implemented that amongst your team? Like you're saying, okay, if you want this, like personal development is a big part of having this sort of success.
For sure. I mean, I think one of the things we do is we give our team, DMOs, daily method of operations, and it's not just skill set. One of the parts of that is personal development. And we have a tracker, and it even has a space for them to write like what they did that day for their personal development. And then I always share things like anytime the Activation Nation comes up, I'm like, hey guys, this is a great listen. So I'll just throw it out into our chat and, kind of feed them some ideas of how to get their personal development.
I love it. So after you jumped in, you started within the industry of network marketing, you said you spent that first year you had a few customers here and there. You finally got contacted by someone that you didn't even really know, but eventually sort of turned into a mentor for you. You went to an event, you started working. Was there a specific moment where you realized like this is for real and I can do this and this could actually change my life?
Yeah, it was that first event. It was awful getting to. I said I didn't have money for a plane ticket. I flew standby the entire way, and I missed the first 2 flights. And I'm not an emotional person. Like I don't cry often. I bawled in the airport because I'm like, I don't know how to get to LA. But I think that was just part of that story and that journey, and it had to be hard for me. But I remember sitting there and watching these people cross the stage who had way worse backgrounds than I've ever. I mean, I grew up with, my parents are amazing. I have a great family. I was educated, and I'm listening to these stories of people who've had, poverty and abuse and just death and tragedy. And I'm like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And so I kind of just took that mantra, and that's how I lead my business really is, if she can do it, I can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. And I just run with it. I don't see any ceiling or, oh, well, I would never get to that level or earn that trip, or no, I'm just going to go and do it.
I love it. And during your journey in network marketing, have you encountered people, I guess what would be some of the biggest insecurities? Because I think there, obviously we can talk about, there is that stigma that, for example, that may have existed when you first heard about network marketing, or maybe your husband, when you first heard about network marketing. What are some of the biggest like insecurities that people have about network marketing, or maybe just being an entrepreneur in general? And how do you address those?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, I believe everyone has some sort of entrepreneur dream inside of them. And whether or not they go after that, whether or not they ever do anything with it. I mean, I knew from a young age that I was interested in it, but the only thing I knew about being an entrepreneur was what I saw my dad do. And he owns a printing company, and was still working the hours that he worked when we were growing up, and he's 65 years old. And I just thought, I don't want that. But I think the stigma is they either don't believe in themselves or they don't believe in the industry. And so trying to break through those things and just showing them and telling them stories and building that belief is how you can get over that hump with people.
I love it. And one of my favorite questions to ask on this podcast is, if you had the ability to go back in time, to go all the way back in time when you first heard about just the industry in general, and had the ability to just talk to yourself. I think in movies and stuff that like breaks everything down if you'd like communicate with yourself in the past, but we're going to ignore all that. We're going to go straight up. You can go and talk to yourself in the past. What is one piece of advice that you would give to yourself? Because I think whatever that piece of advice would be for yourself going all the way back would obviously be perfect advice for someone that's just starting up, that's brand new into this industry. So what would you tell Erika Dale 10 years ago, starting in the industry of network marketing? Like, hey, whatever you do, make sure you do X.
I think the number one thing I would say for that brand new person is just to hitch your wagon to that mentor, the person that has what you want in the business, and do what they tell you to do. Be the parrot, be the person, like I said, when I met my mentor, listen to them, do what they say. Don't let your ego get in the way. Don't let your fears get in the way. Don't let your insecurities get in the way. Just do it, and do it to prove them wrong if you don't believe it'll work. That's what my husband has always done. He's like, that's stupid. If I said that would never work, but I'm going to do it. And then when it works, he's like, oh, okay, that person might know what they're talking about. So just kind of replicate exactly what they're doing, and eventually you'll be able to unhitch that wagon and go off on your own.
And it sounds like you're talking a little bit about belief as well. I think a lot of people, maybe they have the desire, but they don't necessarily have that belief. How do you build that belief in someone? Like how, fostering a culture of belief. Yeah,
I think the biggest way to get belief is by acting. I think the action breeds results, and results breeds the belief. But a lot of people take one step and then they quit. And so they never even get to the level of belief because they don't give it enough time.
It's true. It's true.
Sad.
It is sad.
Yeah.
It is sad. But belief and having I think a big why on top of all this. How I'd like to ask you that question, the importance of having a why. Like when you were starting off in the industry, did you have a why, and has your why changed as you've gone throughout your 10 years in the industry and your journey?
Yeah. My why, they say your why should make you cry. I hate that. Because mine didn't. My why made me mad. My why was, you have a college education. You were told this is going to be the life for you, and you can't pay your bills. So I was mad. And so, my why in the beginning was to make money. And I think a lot of people think like they can't say that out loud. You have to have money to live. You have to have money to put food on the table for your kids, to have your electric bill not turned off. So that was my why. Fast forward now, 7.5 years in LifeVantage, my why has changed a lot. The money is no longer the number one thing. Now, I think the more money you have, the more you get to do, the more you get to give, the more you get to experience. So I want to continue to grow that. But I'm 38 years old, and my husband and I never wanted kids. And 6 months ago, life changed, and we've decided like, hey, let's see what we can do here. And so now the why is completely changed to something I never even thought was possible, but it's because of this industry. We didn't want to bring kids up in a world where we were working 60 hours a week.
Right.
Where we weren't getting home till 9 o'clock at night. Like, that's not a life to bring a child in. Now we have, we can live how we want on our terms. We can bring this child up in a completely different upbringing. And so our why has changed drastically from day one.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I would love to ask you just more specifically, because I'm interested in this, because you are someone that is constantly qualifying for like all of our incentive trips. Every single incentive trip, if you qualify for one. Oh, minus one.
We don't talk about that
essentially, we're just, we're going to cut it and just say all of them. No, we're going to keep all this in.
I like it. I like it.
Keeping honest. But most of our incentive trips, you are someone that's constantly just going out there, hitting all the requirements to go on incentive trips. So you can tell that you're actively building. Are you talking more to customers? Are you talking more to consultants? Like who specifically are you talking to, and what are you sharing about LifeVantage when you have those conversations?
I mean, definitely I've built both. I think for most people, it's easier to bring in customers because, again, we went back to people don't believe in themselves or they don't believe in the industry. So getting over those hurdles takes time. So you can back down and say, hey, just grab some product. I know you're going to love it, whatever. But I share the whole story. Regardless of who I'm talking to, I lead with business. You know, if you're listening to this, you have to figure out what works for you. There's not a wrong or a right way. But for me, it's easier to lead with the business and then back down to, well, then just get started as a customer than the opposite way. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, meet people where they are. You know, don't try to put them in as a consultant because you just want that consultant, because it doesn't work. It never works if you push them into the wrong position. And I also believe that our customers make the best consultants once they see what's possible in the vision and how these products are truly working. So
it's true. Getting that product experience goes a long way, and you become a believer in it.
Yep.
And I know we have plenty of consultants here at LifeVantage that started out that way, but sharing that full story.
It's
Should
good.
And meet them where they're at.
Yep, meet them where they're at.
Meet them where they're at. I think that's incredible. Well, I'd love to also get your insight on this. You've been with LifeVantage now for how many years?
7.5.
7.5 years here at LifeVantage. Again, you built, prior to Evolve, you built a successful elite business. And you still have an successful now executive consultant business. So everyone listening, no, she's very, very successful.
Starting over.
We're changed the title. We changed the title, but we're going through Evolve right now. We're making a big shift at the company in terms of, our compensation plan and some, everything else that we're kind of working on. I would love to hear what you have to say. Like, what makes you most excited about the future of LifeVantage?
Yeah, I think I don't know if it was Tyler Daniels or Rachel Pekarik. Maybe it was the two of them combined, but one of them said that they, in their opinion, we now have the most modern and the most traditional compensation plan. And that just reigns in my head every time I hear that. I think I'm most excited because I truly feel like we are going to help create wins right away for that newest consultant and build their belief right away versus, hang on, just wait, be patient, because people don't have patience anymore. They don't want to wait. Mm-hmm. They want to see the fruits of their labor immediately. Right. Like, we live in a microwave society. So I think that's what I'm most excited about, but it's just big picture. I've always seen the vision with LifeVantage from probably the first couple weeks after getting started, but I see it bigger and brighter, if that makes sense, with Evolve and all the changes that we've made.
I love it. That's amazing. And I know we got to let you run backstage here in a minute. We only got, 2.5 hours until you're up in front of a couple thousand people here at New Orleans. Maybe you got to prep a little bit. Let's see. But I'd love to ask you just one final, if you could just, a gold nugget that you can share, the most important thing that you can share with everyone listening right now, like top of your head, spur of the moment, most important gold nugget, whatever that is right now, what would that be?
I mean, just act. Just take action.
Just do it.
Just do it. Nike says, just do it. I think, again, action breeds results. Results breeds belief. And do it bad, right? We're all bad. We're all getting better. We're all getting gooder, greater, whatever you want to say. But just take action.
Just take action. Just do it. That was probably we were hosting a workshop yesterday with our senior consultants, and we went out into the audience after one of the presentations and just asked them one thing that they learned, and that was we had a woman stand up, and that's essentially what she said. She's like, I am terrified to talk to people. She's like, I'm just terrified of doing it, but I know I just got to do it. Yeah. Like, I just got to do it. I need to figure it out. I know I'm not going to be good at it. Yeah. Like, right off the bat.
Yeah. I mean, you're not.
You're not going to be perfect.
Were you good at your first job, day one? Were you scared? I mean, it's no different than that. Were you scared on your first date?
Oh, you guys should have heard me when I first started working here at LifeVantage answering phones. I didn't even know what I'd share this, but I didn't even know, I started here. I've been here for 12.5 years, and I still vividly remember I joined LifeVantage when the company was first starting,
Yeah.
just because I needed a job and I happened to be bilingual and spoke Spanish, and they're like, hey, we need someone to answer Spanish phone calls at our company. I'm like, okay, what do you guys do? Like, what's Protan? Like, is that some kind of drink? I don't know. Okay, that's cool. And it took me, I remember people calling me and I'm just like, I don't know what network marketing is, but okay, I'll help you.
Can you speak? Can you talk? Okay, you can do network marketing. I promise you. When I first joined, we didn't have Zoom. We did conference conferencecall.com. And I remember Rachel saying, okay, invite, 25 people, invite 100 people to this call. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking she's going to do the whole thing. I'm brand new. And she goes, all right, so you do the first part. We had a script. And I was like, wait, what? And she goes, no, just read it. Like, you know how to read, just read. And so I'm sitting there and the word glutathione is on there. Guys, I wasn't sciencey. I didn't understand this product. Before that call, I Googled glutathione, and you know how on Google you can hit play and it'll tell you how to say a word. I hit that like 20 times before the call because I didn't know how to say it. So it's just like, we were all bad in the beginning. You just have to do it anyways, and you're going to mess up and you're going to fumble through words, but nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Just do it. And if you keep just doing it, you may one day end up like Erika Dale presenting on stage in just a few hours at New Orleans at one of our major events. It's been awesome to work with you, to see you in action over these last few years, and it's just incredible. And I know with Evolve in particular, you're going to do some amazing things moving forward, and we just cannot wait to see what you have for us next.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for tuning in to the Activation Nation podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Tell your friends and share your biggest takeaways from today's discussion with anyone who could benefit from them. This episode is sponsored by LifeVantage Legacy, a nonprofit dedicated to improving lives and building a lasting impact for those in need around the world. Learn more at lifevantage.com. We look forward to sharing more with you during next week's conversation. Thanks for listening and being an important part of the LifeVantage community.